Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. A special hello and welcome to all the new members and subscribers of this new channel. Welcome guys. Today, in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about this week of chaos for the government and the establishment. We're going to talk about a couple of problems that are basically happening right now from the situation with the vaccine passports, but also the illegal migration crisis. Today, we're going to focus on that. Tomorrow's video, we're actually going to focus on the other side, the Labour Party. I didn't want to mix them up because there are also some updates coming out later tonight. Today's random protest outside the Labour Party HQ by Corbynistas. We're going to cover that in tomorrow's video. But today, let's talk about some hypocrisy that we've seen and the empty promises and the lies from some of the establishment figures. Now, I know that some people are very much pro-conservatives, so they don't really like it when I criticize the Tory government, but we have to be objective. At least be self-critical. Even if you are still a Tory supporter, it doesn't really matter. Call them out if they do something wrong. This one is very specific. Nadhim Zahawi, the so-called vaccine minister, the guy who tweeted in January, only a few months ago, saying that we have no plans to introduce vaccine passports. We have vaccinated, as of yesterday, over 2 million first dose and 400,000 a second dose. No one has been given or will be required to have a vaccine passport. Well, I'm going to talk about your opinions and my opinion on vaccine passports, but that tweet was from January, and this video is now.
By the end of September, everyone aged 18 and over will have the chance to receive full vaccination and the additional 2 weeks for that protection to really take hold. So at that point, we plan to make full vaccination a condition of entry to nightclubs and other venues where large crowds gather. Proof of a negative test will no longer be sufficient. Any decisions will, of course, Mr. Speaker, be subject to parliamentary scrutiny, and we will ensure the appropriate exemptions for those who have genuine medical reasons of why they can't get vaccinated. And I'm clear we will always look at the evidence available and do all we can to ensure people can continue to do the things they love.
Okay, just going to stop him right there. You can lie. You're a politician. We're used to it. But when it comes to certain lies and big promises, if you want to change your mind, make a U-turn, you found new evidence, fine, come out and explain it. Don't just randomly decide, well, no, we always wanted vaccine passports. Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't want it until now. Well, unless you wanted it and you lied to us in January. Now, for those of you who are in favor of the vaccine passports, if you are, because you think, it's all about putting the effort together as a nation and, the harmony of society. Well, it's just not practical. It's wrong. It will create a tier-based society. We're going to have two classes, essentially. There will be some people who can't take the vaccine, and of course that means they can't live like a normal member of society anymore. But it's not even about that. It's not even about if the vaccine passport is a good idea or not. It's about how politicians and governments are running our country and how they're running our society and how we continue to let them get away with a lot of things. Considering Claire Fox replied to Nadhim Zahawi's tweet saying that, good to hear, can we hold you to this? Nadhim Zahawi said, yes, you can, Claire. So, let me talk about principle. I think he should resign. Nadhim Zahawi must resign. Because that's essentially, I know that was not a legal contract, that tweet, but integrity and honesty, or lack of it in this case, it does matter. You are creating a toxic environment when it comes to political system that we have. And you're making things even worse. People and the lack of trust that we have right now with politicians, it's getting worse and worse. We thought it was bad during the Brexit negotiations, but it's getting much worse than that. But it's not even about that. Everything's getting worse. All countries, as you have seen on this channel last week when I reported all the uprisings and protests from France, from other places. You got Greece kicking off as well. In Europe, people are sick and tired of the way politicians and governments are running things. Now, of course, in France and Greece, they are specifically protesting against certain measures. In Cuba, they are protesting against authoritarianism on a different level. Well, going back to France, I'm not surprised that the protests every day are getting bigger and bigger when you have things like this. Macron, the guy who was supposed to be a moderate, has issued a 6-month prison decree for entering a bar or a restaurant without a vaccine passport. So, and if anybody allow someone into their business unvaccinated, they will face a 1-year prison sentence and a €45,000 fine. Whoa, I know things are bad in this country, and I always say that be glad that at least we're not France. But I don't want to keep saying that so that you be complacent about the current situation in this country and our government, but I'm just, at least, we're not France. Although, on the other hand, when we say we're not France, it doesn't really apply to certain illegal migrants who move from France to come to the UK. Maybe they know that France is not the best place for them. We have some bad news. Over the last few days, we've seen absolute chaos in Kent, and the channel crossing continues. 430 new illegal migrants entered the country yesterday, and we had a lot more also over the last week or so. The situation is out of control. Not only that, photos and videos that now come out from Kent, these guys were celebrating. Of course they're celebrating. Like, they have hit the jackpot, and they know that they are now in a place where not only they're safe, somehow safer than France. Now I believe that. Now I believe that they are fleeing a country that's not safe, France. But, jokes aside, the control when it comes to border force, Priti Patel, Home Office, the whole of the government, our country, where is it? What are we doing about this? We have the Home Secretary coming out every few days, every few weeks, making empty promises. The government is supposed to be protecting us. This situation was not like this, even under Tony Blair. Well, maybe because he made it easier for people to just come in anyway, legally speaking. But this is not looking good. The numbers are not looking good. 430 migrants. This was the latest number from yesterday. The total this year so far in small boats have now reached 8,187. Now last year, the whole of the 2020 was 8,420. Now, I mean, the issue that we have is that it's July right now. And the 430 people that actually came yesterday, 14 small boats. We also had, well, previous day record was 346, recorded earlier this month. We don't really know exactly what's happening. At this point, I'm actually thinking that they probably let them in. There must be something that it can't just be a lack of competence with the border force. They're still there. They might say that, oh, we don't have enough numbers. Well, Priti Patel technically and the Home Office have injected more funding, and they have more numbers. So are they missing them in broad daylight? Not one boat, not two boats, a lot of boats. So where is the Home Secretary? What is she doing about this? Do they genuinely know that what is it going to create? The dangers of this. Firstly, even if you want to be objective, the dangers and the problems that this is going to be creating is actually for everybody, including for migrants, because it's a dangerous route. Just don't take it, it's dangerous. But for the country itself, there are a number of problems. Even if you want to be a neoliberal pro-migration, always advocate legal migration. But if you're a conservative, of course you have to be concerned when it comes to the cultural change. And when we say cultural change, we're not really talking about the fact that people with different skin color are coming here and changing the way of life of white people. The people who are coming illegally, randomly coming here, they're also changing the culture and the way of life of other migrants who have now settled here legally. They are now second generation, third generation who are now British, regardless of skin color. So the illegal migrants are also affecting everybody's life. And economically, of course, we know that as opposed to legal and controlled migration, who you could bring people who are skillful, who have resources, they definitely benefit the economy. Absolutely. But we know that as a whole, a lot of illegal migrants, considering their applications fail anyway when they go through the process, a lot of them. And instead of getting deported, they just hang around the streets of the UK, just work illegally or, cash in hand. They won't pay tax. A lot of them will send half of the money that they earn back to their own countries, to their families, or whoever they know. So the money actually leaves the country. That's bad for the sterling. There are a number of problems economically. Public services, resources that we have, local resources. We keep talking about protecting the NHS. You, as a normal Brit, should stay at home to protect the NHS. But it doesn't matter. if we create another burden for the NHS differently by just allowing everybody to illegally enter this country. We're an island. There's water between us and France. Yet, and that's why we're supposed to make things difficult for illegal migrants throughout decades and centuries. Somehow it looks so easy now. It's easier than the Mexican border with the US. It's getting out of control. But the culture is shifting. If you criticize this, they say that you hate all people from different skin color. You hate all foreigners, different cultures. You can't say anything. You can't debate about anything, really, anymore. Everything's changing because the woke side are winning, up to a point where Johnny Mercer, the so-called Conservative MP, now this guy has always been a kind of almost leftist Tory, not really, hardcore Thatcherite. But I'm going to show you the tweet again. This tweet, of course, Tyrone Mings was criticizing the whole gesture politics, comments that Priti Patel made about football. And Johnny Mercer said, the painful truth is that this guy is completely right. It's about taking the knee. Very uncomfortable with the position we Conservatives are needlessly forcing ourselves into. Do I fight it or stay silent? Modern conservatism was always so much more to me. We must not lose our way. So he's now defending the kneeling culture. That, we Conservatives are now coming across that we are now racist. So we should take the knee. Interesting. Coming from Johnny Mercer. We did some digging. A year ago, when taking the knee and the Black Lives Matter movement started properly in this country, he tweeted this. Key to this debate is nuance, not pointless gestures. Unfair privilege and race disparity does exist in the UK. We also are, on the whole, deeply blessed as a nation compared to some of the places I've spent my life in. The two are not mutually exclusive. We must tread carefully. Yes, pointless gestures, just like how the Labour MP Luke Pollard said, I kneel to those opposing racism. Hashtag Black Lives Matter UK. That's not a hashtag, by the way. Hashtag Black Lives Matter UK is not a thing, but okay. You could tag the account. Just put hashtag BLM or Black Lives Matter. Anyway, what happened to that, Johnny Mercer? The reason I mention him is because, of course, we don't really have high expectations from left-wing Tories. But I've also seen some right-wingers who have now surrendered. Everybody is surrendering to the woke side. The people who were criticizing taking the knee to Black Lives Matter last year, some of them are changing their mind this time because of the way football players were treated, the millionaires, the way they were treated. We are losing the battle, guys. We need to wake up. I mean, I'm glad that there were times when this channel started, the new channel on this website, was thinking about how things are going to change, especially post-lockdown. Well, post-lockdown. But we have to actually be careful now, because you might think that when I started making the YouTube videos at the time, initially, well, it was Brexit, that was the battle of the century. And then Brexit got done. And then, COVID started. And there are normal issues in the country. Jeremy Corbyn is the Labour leader at the time, so communism might come. There are bigger problems now. And this channel is now needed more than ever. You guys are needed more than ever. Your support. And you guys need to be proactive. Whether you just watch these things, you don't need to become activists. Any conversation is helpful in this society. Even if you watch these videos, you can go to a pub, have a chat with your neighbor or a friend or relative, a very sensible and civilized chat. We have to start debating. Stop surrendering. Stop being shy of, I'm not accusing all of you, by the way. I did that before when I was younger. I was trying to be considerate, so I did not debate certain things. You don't have to be aggressive. Not everybody has to be like Alex Jones in America, but we could do it in a civilized manner. Well, we have to talk. We have to counter these arguments. That's why things are changing. Look at these guys. Independence Age. Oh dear God. Independence Age is run by left-wing groups, including anti-Brexit activists, including our favourite, the Remainer Carol Baskin. Now, this came out a while ago, as in terms of the, not necessarily this story, but it was already revealed by Guido Fawkes, the blog, a while ago, and we reported it on this channel. Now, this has come out again, because now there's been revealed more in terms of the members of the Independence Age, the communists, the Remainers, the political donors of the Labour Party or the Liberal Democrats, the intellectual woke side who are controlling these groups. And then they're pretending to be experts. And a lot of people, somehow Independence Age, it's getting a lot of attention these days. Independence Age, that is a political body, is getting more attention than last year. It's actually getting more attention than the government stage. And that's also a different problem, by the way. Let's get to that one, because that's another danger to our culture. Cloth face masks, which are basically the normal masks that people wear, are comfort blankets that do little to curb COVID spread. This is according to, finally, one of the state advisors, Dr. Colin Axon. That is absolutely right, by the way, that some of these cloth masks have gaps that are invisible to the naked eye, but are 500,000 times the size of viral COVID particles. No one is talking about this. Fascinating how a lot of people are just walking around with face masks. Well, they are technically face coverings. They are comfort blankets. It's all just about feeling safe and feeling secure. They don't work. I'm not saying, if you're really cautious, someone like me saying, oh, just don't wear face masks, that's not going to work for you because you want to be cautious. But if you really want to be cautious, then also you have to be honest with yourself. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to not to catch the virus, or are you actually trying to prevent others from catching it from you? If you genuinely believe that you are a danger to society, then genuinely continue with self-isolation. There are a few people who are doing it, by the way. There's some Remainers. There's a massive Twitter community now, FBPE, who are still self-isolating. They haven't stopped since March 2020. Because if you're afraid that you might catch the virus, you wearing a face mask, it's not going to stop you from catching the virus, even the flu. So if you're afraid that you're going to give it to society, then just stay at home. Send someone to go shopping. People actually have apps now, unless obviously you're in a place where the apps don't work. But we have to be honest with the way this whole thing has reached to this level, because the issue I have, the battle of masks, the debate, is now a big fight. Unnecessarily. It's Brexit all over again. It's worse than lockdown, pro-lockdown, anti-lockdown. And this is now absolutely showing the visible gap between the two sides. Now, since yesterday, when face masks stopped being mandatory, technically, in most places, now walk around London, on the street or in shops, now you can see, because it's now optional, mostly, you can see some wearing it, and a lot of people not wearing it. And that is creating that two-tier system that we kind of have created in society. It's a class-based system, basically. And people think, I'm more virtuous, and you don't care. Yeah, they go to the club, and they go to the same bars and just hang around and hug people with face masks on. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do. And on the other hand, I'll be objective. Some of the anti-face mask people sometimes they get aggressive. They shout at people who are in face masks. I'm also against that. Just be civilized. People shouting at everybody, it's just, people need to calm down. I know people get angry, frustrated, both sides. The ones wearing a face mask are frustrated because they think everybody's dying. The ones not wearing a face mask are getting frustrated because they think communism is here. So this whole thing is changing our culture. In the meantime, while we're busy talking about this, illegal migrants are still coming in. The government making stupid decisions. They're making U-turns and lying to us, and they get away with it. Journalists are not really asking the important questions that they need to ask, and everything's in chaos. And the Labour Party, which we're going to talk about in tomorrow's video, are in trouble, as usual, but things are going to get worse for this country because both main political parties are in trouble from their own sides. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about that, but tomorrow at 6:30 is our Zoom call, which is obviously, if you're a full member, you go to the membership area and sign up. But today we're going to do something special because, of course, every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., the full members of the channel have access to sign up to these Zoom calls and be part of our panel as a contributor. It's a special show that we have, a discussion panel with me. But we're going to do something special for this Wednesday because, Freedom Week, technically. I'm going to give this opportunity to everyone, to all the members, standard membership and full membership, just for this week and next week. So you could give it a try. If you have a standard membership And obviously, you want to give it a try and see if you enjoy it. Then you could actually upgrade to full membership, or if not, then you don't have to. So for the next for this week and next week, I'm going to put the link in the description under the video. Might be on top of the video. Need to get used to this website now. So yeah, go to the description on top of the video, and you get the link to Eventbrite, and you can actually sign up to tomorrow's Zoom call 6:30 p.m. also next Wednesday as well. That's the end of this cycle of these Zoom calls, and then we're going to start again in a couple of weeks. And then of course the rest of you, if you're a full member, don't forget to add your daily questions. Go to the full membership area page and drop in your daily questions for Q&As. I'll answer them tomorrow's video. Don't worry, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.